Hi, this is Carl with another super success video for IT consultants. Today I want to talk about what constitutes work. This is sort of a mindset video. You know, too often we find ourselves saying, well, that, whatever that is, there's something, is not really work. And I should be working. I should be working whatever, 8 to 5, 8 to 6, 9 to 5, whatever. And so we put things off and say, well, there's some stuff that just doesn't feel like work, so I'm going to do that tonight, or I'm going to do that on the weekend, or something like that, so it doesn't take up work time. And there's two manifestations to how our mindset basically pushes us in the wrong direction when it comes to the concept of work. The first thing that we often do wrong is that we put things aside because we say, well, that's not real work. And then you look at it and say, okay, what are you doing that's not real work? Good examples of things that fall into this category are reading. We know we need to read to stay up on our industry, but very few of us literally sit down and relax at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and read a book, read a magazine, read a website, go through the news of our industry. We say, oh, no, I can do that in the evening. Well, it is real work. And in the evening, you got kids and family and TV. And to be honest, you read a lot slower in the evening than you do in the morning. As you go through your day, you use up a lot of your energy. And so you're giving less attention and a less active mind to the reading that you know you need to do. It's the same with studying for a certification or an exam. And so often we have this list of things that we say it's not real work because somehow sitting down and working on a computer is the real work that you want to do. Configuring a network is the real work, and it does take concentration and brain power, right? But you know, studying for your exam, actually internalizing the information also takes focus and attention and a little bit of work. So don't put these things off and say, well, I'll do that in this time period when I'm going to do a half-baked job on everything. That doesn't make any sense. Who wants to have work done by somebody who's doing a half-baked job? So you give your full attention to your clients who are paying full price, and you give half of that attention to your own business, your own success, your future income and success. I think a huge piece of this is that we feel self-indulgent if we're doing something that is purely for us. I'm not working on a client computer, I'm working on my own business. But you've heard the phrase 1,000 times. You have to take time to work on your business, not just work in your business. And if you don't do that, you will be what Michael Gerber calls a technician forever. And there's nothing wrong with being technicians. That's how we all got started. But at some point, you want to be an owner. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to move to the next level. And that takes time to do something that's not technician work, but it's the brain work. It's the work of learning about your industry, learning what's coming next, figuring out what the future looks like. Sitting down and working on your business is absolutely critical. Now, I said there were two pieces to this. The first piece is this long list of things that we say, well, that's not working. And I have to tell you, the lesson that you need to learn is it's not working. It is working. It is valuable. It is something you should give time to. The second way that we sabotage ourselves is to put something on a second monitor. The most common thing is webinars. Time and time again, I see the evidence of this. As somebody watching a webinar, I hear somebody give a presentation, and then somebody comes in and asks a question that they would only ask if they missed one of the most important points of the webinar. And it's because they have their work in front of them and the webinar on the second monitor, and they're paying half of the attention to that, maybe less than half, maybe 20%. They think they're paying attention, but as soon as something's interesting, they turn their focus to the second monitor, and they've already missed whatever it was that was important. Now they got to watch the recording, and if you're lucky, or the kind of person who will write down the time and say, oh, this was at 14 minutes after the hours was a key point that I missed. Well, or they end up asking questions again and again and again. And, it becomes repetitive and irritating for other people who are watching the video to say, wow, if you really didn't understand the first 10 minutes of this webinar, maybe you should be in a different business. The point is, if you're going to do something, give it your attention. Don't give it half your attention. Don't give it your worn out evening attention. Give it your full attention. If a webinar is not worth your time, don't register, don't watch it, don't participate. If a webinar is worth your time, do watch it, do focus on it, give it your attention, and participate. At the end of the day, this is not just being overwhelmed. This isn't a series of juggling balls for the rest of your life. I know I sound preachy, but you really have to look at yourself and say, am I wasting my time or am I using it effectively? Am I working on my business or in my business? And if I'm working on my business, am I giving it the due that it deserves? There's an old saying, if something is worth doing, it's worth doing well. That's absolutely true. And sometimes we get caught up thinking that this is all just juggling too many things and we have too much going on and so forth. But remember, time is an option. Time is a choice. You only have so much time. So what you will do today, what you will do this week, matters. And you have to decide. Ultimately, no matter how hard it is, you have to decide what's important and what is not. And you have to prioritize. And if everything is high priority, all that really means is you haven't thought about it enough and you haven't prioritized. You have simply let everything feel like it's high priority. It can't be. It is not possible for everything to be high priority because obviously that means nothing is high priority. You have to make choices and you have to realize your attention span is as critical and as rare as time. You only get so much. It starts out high every day and it gets depleted every day, right? It's the same as your energy. Your focus starts out good and goes down, 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 down until you close your eyes and the unfocused world becomes your dream world, right? Make good choices about your business. This isn't just nagging. This is choosing where you will spend the precious resource of your attention. So I encourage you to think about what matters and how you improve your business. And when does that business improvement stuff get done? If you've left it for evenings and weekends and time when you're exhausted, if you put it on a second monitor and given it 20% of your attention, well, it's going to take you a lot longer to figure things out, a lot longer to be successful, a lot longer to get to the next level. So I encourage you to make a commitment. Focus on one thing at a time. That's a habit. That's hard to do. That's going to take a lot of effort, but it's absolutely worthwhile. And whenever you're tempted to say, well, that's not work, Ask yourself, is it really not work? For Small Biz Thoughts, this is Carl Palachuk, wishing you the best of luck in everything you do.